You are ready to take thought beyond that which it has been before. You are appreciating the evolution of your desire. You understand that you are leading-edge creators and that the environment in which you stand is best suited to provide the contrast which causes you to focus. Have you made peace with focusing? Do you understand that that's what deliberate creating is deliberately focusing? Do you understand that when you are remembering, you are focusing? When you are imagining, you are focusing? When you are having a conversation about something, you are focusing? When you are pondering or musing, observing, your attention to a subject is focusing, isn't it? Do you have to have conversation to be focusing? Not at all. Just your attention to it, even if you do not speak it, is focusing. And that attention, that pondering, that remembering, that imagining, that observing, that focusing is creating. You understand why that is so? Because you are vibrational beings. And when you give your attention to something, you offer a vibration that emanates to the boundaries of this boundaryless universe. You emanate a signal that law of attraction matches. So whatever you are giving your attention to causes you to offer a vibration, and that vibration, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, whether you are tending to it deliberately or not, whether you are sloppily just offering it in ignorance or not, that is your point of attraction. And so you and everybody you know is offering a signal, and that signal is a vibrational offering that is matched. That's how it all works. Now, many people are not yet ready to acknowledge that they are vibrational. They prefer to see themselves as the flesh, blood, and bone specimens that they see in the mirror. And we want to remind you that all that you see is an extension of vibration, and that everything that you observe with your physical senses is vibrational interpretation. In other words, you see because your eyes translate vibration, and you hear because your ears translate vibration, and you smell because your nose translates vibration. Your fingertips are translating vibration. Your tongue is translating vibration. All of your senses are about the translation of vibration, and that's why you are able to perceive your environment in the way that you do. But you are also perceiving vibration, or you can, through your solar plexus, through your emotional center. Your emotions are giving you the best feedback of all of your vibrational offering. It's helpful, however, to understand what your emotions mean. And sometimes we are lovingly amused when we have to start at a very base elementary place with our physical friends by explaining to them that if it feels good, it is. Because somehow you've gotten so crossways of your own guidance system that you may not believe this, but there are actually people around you who believe that struggle is good and that pain and struggle is good. And we're wanting you to understand that if you are only evaluating your life based upon the action part of it, in other words, there's the action part of your life, which is where I am right now and what I'm observing right now and what I have come to right now and what I have been attracting, and so what's culminating, what's manifesting, that's the action part of my life. I'm 200 pounds overweight, that's the action part of my life. I have been given a diagnosis of some terminal dreaded disease, that's the action part of my life. I just got a speeding ticket, that's the action part of my life. My girlfriend ran off with someone else, that's the action part of my life. But the action part of your life, and so we understand how if you are looking at the action part of your life, if you're looking at what is actually happening right now, what you've come to, so to speak, we can understand how it would be hard for you to acknowledge the vibrational part of your life. You're so busy looking at the manifestations that you've come to and wanting to deal with them. We can see how action would seem to you like it should play a big role in your experience. And if you are only comparing the action part of your life, we can certainly understand how if you walk up on a fist fight and you see a big bully beating up on some person who seems to truly be at a disadvantage, we can see how you would question should you not jump into it and see if you can save the little guy's life? We can understand how that action seems like the only thing that under those conditions you might be able to do. Meditation is sort of too little too late. Lining up your energy, making a list of positive aspects is sort of too little too late. We understand how the action part of your life seems like a big important part of your life. But we want to help you to understand that you have two concurrent journeys running along here in every moment of every day. There's the action journey, which from our way of explaining it means what you've come to, where you're at, what's not going to change this red hot minute. It's not going to change immediately. It will change, just not right now. It is what it is, what it is. But then there's this vibrational journey, this emotional journey that's run alongside of it that if you're not aware of and you don't do something about changing the emotional journey, then the action journey, or what is just going to keep culminating pretty much like it has been. You notice in your own life and maybe in the lives of others, there are all kinds of people whose lives keep going the same. Different places, different faces, but the same theme runs through their life. Different people abusing them, different people taking advantage of them, different people disappointing them. But it is the same essence of the same life experience because it's coming from the same vibrational point of attraction. So what we're wanting you to begin to consider is that, yes, you've got this action journey, and yes, it is what it is, but you have some options that you may not have been considering. We were visiting with a woman not long ago who has painful arthritis in her hips. And we said to her, so that's what is, and it's not going to change today or maybe even tomorrow. It is what it is. But you have some emotional options. You can have painful arthritis in your hips and you can be fearful. Or you can have painful arthritis in your hips and you can be hopeful. And the vibrational difference between fearful and hopeful is a huge vibrational difference. It's so huge that it makes the difference between how long you're going to keep walking into another day with painful hips. If you can separate your response to what is emotionally by having more fun with it, by caring more about how you feel, if you can start tending to your vibration, then you can start changing your future outcome. Unless you tend to your emotions, unless you do something about the way you feel, then you have no creative control. You're just responding to conditions. And then we understand why many of you, in fact, it seems that most of our physical human friends are determined that they're just going to wrestle the conditions to the ground and change them. Because you look at a condition and it doesn't please you and it makes you feel bad. And then you look at a condition which does please you and it makes you feel good. And then you say, I've got the answer. We need to control the conditions. And we say, you can't get big enough political parties or big enough religious gatherings or big enough armies or big enough bombs to make them behave the way you think you need them to behave so that you can feel better. You've got to stop practicing this conditional love. It's not going to work. It is not working. How is it working out for you? In other words, if you need conditions to change before you feel better, and before you feel better, your vibration has to change. If you need the condition to change before your vibration can change, then you're in deep trouble. If you need And so that's what people come around to. They say, I've got arthritis in my hips, or I don't have enough money, or my lover left me, and I need that condition to get back to the place that I can enjoy it again before I can feel better. And we say, you're asking the impossible. You're saying, give me something that I'm not a vibrational match to, and once you've given me something that I'm not a vibrational match to, then I'll be a vibrational match to it. And we say, that's like saying, I'm going to set my radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and I expect 98.6 FM to come through it. Jerry and Esther, when they were checking the computer just now, have something they don't understand happening. Abraham's microphone was blaring into the computer, giving him a much bigger signal than they should have, even when the microphone was muted. It's not possible, they kept saying, and yet there it was. There was a vibrational misalignment that they do not know what happened, why it is there, that was giving them an action result that they didn't want. And they did not get to the bottom of it. They just switched microphones. We're on the guest mic right now, and it's working beautifully. We'll see how you do on Abraham's mic. So what we're getting at is your frequencies have to match up. In other words, there is always a vibrational explanation for everything. And once you get to the bottom of the vibrational explanation, then anything that's manifesting makes perfect sense to you. But unless you get to the vibrational essence of it, when you're messing around out there on the edge, trying to figure out how to adjust some condition or circumstance, you are very limited. Now, we're not saying that you could not take your brute force and pick something up and move it to another place. We're not saying that at all. Of course, your action is a part of your experience. But what we are saying is the essence of what you feel is the essence of what is playing out in your experience, because the law of attraction is the manager that manages this vibrational universe. And until you decide to get control of your vibration, you cannot be a deliberate creator. And the way you get control of your vibration is by saying once and for all, it matters to me how I feel. Finally, I'm going to come back around to acknowledging that I was born with a guidance system, and good means good. If it feels good to me, then it is a good path for me. Jerry and Esther have navigational systems in their vehicles, and if they're pointed in the wrong direction of where they have told the contraption they want to go, this device says, when possible, make a legal U-turn. In other words, it's very clear to the directional device that when they said they want to go west, that when they're going east, they're going in the wrong direction. When they're in Phoenix and they want to go to San Diego, they head west. And if they get turned around in Yuma for some reason and start going back toward Phoenix, their navigational device is going to throw a fit. It's going to say, when possible, make a legal U-turn. When possible, make a legal U-turn. And it won't stop. It will continue to say, as long as you've programmed me for this destination, I'm going to keep telling you you're going in the wrong direction. And your navigational system is telling you the same thing. When you know you want something that feels like this, and you're focused upon something that feels in opposition to it, you are emitting a vibrational signal that is not letting you receive what you're asking for. So there's a 3-step process to the creation process, and it's a 3-step process whether you are aware of the 3 steps or not. 2 of the steps you don't need to be aware of. Step 1 and step 2, you don't even have to know about them, because the universe has been so cleverly orchestrated that those 2 steps are managed perfectly without you. Step 1 is you have to ask. So that might sound strange to you that we say you don't even have to know about step 1, but it is the way that it is, because you do not have to consciously ask, because the contrast of your environment causes you to emit constant preferences. So whether you speak your desire or not, it is emanating to the boundaries of the universe. So step 1 happens because you're living life. When you're driving in traffic and it feels like a frenzy, you emanate a vibration that says, I would like more peaceful traffic. When you don't have enough money, whether you say anything or not, you emanate a vibration that says, I would like more ease with my financial situation. When you are interacting with someone who is rude to you, whether you confront them or not and be rude back, or whether you lick your wounds and slink off into the darkness, still you emanate a vibration that says, I would like to be treated better. In other words, you cannot be alive and focused in this physical time-space reality, or even alive and focused and not in a body as we are in a non-physically focused environment. You cannot be focused consciousness, and everything is, and stop emitting preferences. It just happens. So step 1, don't worry about it. Step 2 is source answers the request, not your work. Source takes care of that. Step 3 is you've got to be in the receiving mode of what you're asking for. So if you're asking for more money, you can't be beating the drum of not enough money and be a vibrational match to more money.